Hello. This is the AFL Fantasy Fanatics. It's the contest. Fantasy footy show where we've apparently got more fanatics than the Fanatics podcast themselves. Jesse, I like redraft. I'm not with Kman. He is a dual hat winner, but he's at the footy tonight. Instead, I'm joined by Bails and Hales, Fantasy Fanatics. Tom, mate, how you doing? Good to have you on the pod. Been a long time.
That's one of the best intros I think I've ever had on a podcast. So, but nice to be back on. I think I was the first ever guest on this podcast, so it's always nice. It's always nice to jump back on and chat with someone who's actually doing well this year. So, maybe you can give me some tips.
Oh, mate, I better not. Hey, I think I've been a bit kissed this year. I'm just dodging bullets left, right, and center. You know, kind of hoping McAndrew doesn't play, but that's just me. That's just me. Yeah, I know. Sorry. Good to have you back on the pod, mate. It's been too long. Bales, how about you, mate? How you going?
Yeah, good, mate. So I think you've got your first guest, and I dare say I'd probably be your most frequent guest if I've been on. I think the most. I think so. So it's good to be on. Good, haven't seen Tom for a while. He decided to skip Monday and Tuesday. Didn't have a good week, so he's like, "Nah, I don't want to jump on." No, he had obviously had Mother's Day plans and the better half's birthday as well. So, mate, good to see you again, and looking forward to a good weekend of footy. Hopefully,
yeah. Well, that's the key. Well, apparently we're due for. I mean, it is so wet in Brisbane at the moment. It's ridiculous. It's kind of like it's reminding me of in Family Guy with Ollie Sykes, the weatherman, and they're always like, "Oh, how's the weather looking, Ollie?" And he's like, "Gonna rain, water and hole." That's kind of how it feels at the moment. It's just wet, and I reckon it's going to be a gross game of footy tonight. So I'm a bit nervous because I have like 5 players in my team in this very wet game this evening
for McCluggage and Tanner Bruin, if that's going to be the case. So
yeah, Tanner Bruin makes me a bit nervy tonight because I've been saying all week that I don't really want to trade him out, but I think it could be a bit yucky this evening. Anyway, we'll see how we go. Before we get stuck into it, if you dig the content, remember to chuck us a follow, 5-star rating over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and like, share, subscribe over on YouTube. We've got a great show lined up today. We're doing some trade therapy and listener questions as usual. But first, the people's favorite 50-point impellies.
Marcus 66% CBAs, 80% time on ground, and yet you only scored 50-point impellies.
Ranks and trades.
I can never help but laugh at that drop because it's so awkwardly long, and we all you've just got to sit there and look at each other. Am I the only
one that just had like a knockoff version of Green Day? We did that sound great. That was what I was getting. So no, it's good fun. Love
it. I will take knockoff Green Day any day of the week for that AI atrocity. Bales, I'll throw to you first, mate. Do you want to just take us through last week's trades, your rank, your score? How's Bails and Hales looking?
Yeah, so the last week, 2083. So I think it was okay. Like round rank of 21,315 wasn't great. I think it was my first round rank outside of 8K for about a month or so. So been on a decent stretch. Just haven't quite had that. Haven't had that like, top 1,000, top 2,000 week to really sort of make up a big amount of ground. It's been sort of chipping away, sort of going there. And last week was sort of probably around parish. I dropped 600 spots to, what was it, 6,592. So still like going okay, mid 6,000s. Trades last week, Blamires and Sarong went out to Sam Cumming and Hugh McCluggage. So McCluggage, I think, was a pass, got about 10 points of upside. Cumming obviously was a little bit disappointing, but Dyson Sharp was the other rookie I was tossing up. So I've got one that at least was playing. Sharp would have been the better pick, obviously, was just unfortunate with the shoulder injury. I do regret trading Blamires or Sarong, like one of them, over an Angus Anderson, because that's cost me a bit of flexibility this week. If I'd kept one, I would have been able to trade Naz to Bont, and it would have been a lot easier to then go get Roby and not have to trade, like do a sideways and do an upgrade. But I did bank a bit of money, so it is a little bit more beneficial for trades this week. So, yeah, going all right. Just hoping to sort of keep chipping away and hopefully keep moving up those ranks.
Beautiful. Thanks, mate. I will say I feel like we had this plethora of DPP rookies at the beginning of the year, and then all of a sudden it feels like we got none left. Like they all maxed out at the same time, and then all of a sudden we're in this weird situation where we had all the flexibility in the world, and it's just all disappeared, and it has made trades really tricky. And it's in the last couple of weeks. Have you found that to be the case
exactly
as well?
Because it's been with the rookies, right? Is that we've sort of got the best rookies available, but if you look at all the rookies that we've been getting, Anderson, Cumming, Rechko, all just mids, and we've been trading out Farrow, Blamires, Sarong, Grill, all defender mids. So all the flexibility we had, we all had like 2 defender mids, 3 defender mids in our midfield. Now we've got none, and probably got a midfield in our utility because we've traded out all the defender mid rookies and brought in straight mid rookies. So these DPP additions to get the Murdochs with the forward stats, hopefully someone like a Tanner Brun with defender status, maybe a Cumming, or someone that gets forward stats, Anderson, if you still got him, that'll just be so good to be able to have more flexibility.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to make life so much easier. Tom, mate, how about you? You were kind of whinging to me pre-pod. You're like, I got to talk about last week. I'm keen to hear this one, mate.
Yeah, I had a really, really, really strong week with a 1980, which was a round rank of 44,587, which dropped me down 5,000 ranks to a smidgen under 12k. Great week for me. Cozzy Pickett captain, thank you. Nasai Wanakami Miller, a no-show. Nice for you to name that up, Ross. Cheers, mate. Love that from you. Trades were all right. Sarong Grill to Cumming and McCluggage. It was as straight bat as physically possible. So I played a test match trying to save a game. So that straight bat. So that was fine. Just the rest was just horrible. Roll on round 10 because round 9 was a disaster.
I don't think I've ever heard you say less about your week in fantasy before. It's like, I am ready to move on from this period of 7 days of my life.
I actually blame Lockie Whitfield for hurting his Achilles. He's the reason my week was bad, because he was going to be a VC or a C, ended up going Lockie, thought he was going to be a smash, not wasn't a smash. And then into Cozzy, which was a disaster.
Yes. I think Kman did Cozzy as a C as well, and I have a feeling he's not even at the footy. I think he just didn't want to talk about it, so that's why he dished me tonight. Last week's trades for me, I finally made the move on Jagger, and I paired him with Jai Sarong, brought in Toby Murray and Bailey Dale. I'm a bit nervy about Bailey Dale. We kind of convinced ourselves that Connor Buderick wouldn't be the Moz on Dale, but he did get a lot of kick-ins. I think he had like 20 kicks of his 25 disposals or something like that. So hopefully he bounces back this week with a bit of a better score. I kind of wish I'd traded out Farrow last week instead of Sarong and taken the risk just to get an extra bit of cash, but that's okay. It was all good. Round rank of 7,313, which was not as good as it could have been, but it was totally fine. For a score of 2164. That was good enough to bring me up about 150 ranks. So I'm sitting at 461 overall at the moment, which this is the highest I've ever been in fantasy, boys. Like, really, I don't know why there's a microphone in front of me. This is uncharted waters.
If there's ever a time to be a microphone in front of you, now, right? You're going well. Like it's good.
I suppose, yeah, I got to take advantage of it. So anyway, I'm getting very anxious as the weeks go on, and I'm bothering my co-host with more and more weekly messages, daily messages. Should I do this? So I'm sure that's probably another reason he's not on the pod tonight. It's like, don't want to deal with Jesse anymore. Okay, we've got a fair few listener questions tonight. Well, by our standards anyway. So I reckon let's get stuck in to a little bit of trade therapy. It's a wonderful drop, that one. Very calming, very relaxing. Welcome to Trade Therapy, the segment where we help each other with our trade decisions and help you 2. Fellas, I don't know how familiar you are with the trade therapy session, but sometimes we know exactly what we're doing, and sometimes Kman and I have absolutely no idea what we're doing, and we ramble and rave for a very long time trying to work it out. Tom, I'll go to you first. Have you got your trades locked in this week, or do you need a bit of help? Do you need a bit of therapizing?
I need lots of help. I don't know if that's just about my trades, but I need lots of help. No, so I've got the Messiah bullet. I'm pretty certain that he's got to go. 3 weeks is too long. And let's use that cash for something fun. Especially, we don't know what state it's going to be coming back in. Is that going to be a managed? Is that going to be forward time? So he's not a hold for me. I have limited DPP. I do have DPP, but it would mean throwing 2 of Blamires, Carroll, and Farrow on field. Already fielding 1. That would go up to 2. But I can say go to a Bont as an example, as a possibility, which would replace a Rechko, Anderson, Cumming with a Blamires or Carroll on field. And then the other trade, I kind of want to get rid of Josh Rochelle. I just think that that's just cash that I'm bleeding. I just don't see a pop score. I think North are too good now, which feels weird to say. I don't think there's going to be a kick a bag, scoring 90 from 5 goals. I don't see midfield time. I just think that ship sailed. But then it's who to go to from that. Currently, I'm on Sam Durham as a cheaper option, which I could go to Rankin. I could just sideways that. I just not sure I like the next couple into his round 12 bye when I already have round 12 forwards coming out my ears with the man, the myth, the legend, Todd Marshall, Leo Lombard. I've still got Dev Rob. So all those are either not playing or around 12. So that's just, on my bench, I've still got the Cookie Monster. I've obviously got Sheasel. So I don't really, if I can get off a round 12 guy, I think that's going to help me in the long run. Because with McAndrew at R2 and with how bad my side is, I don't know if I want to be upgrading him at his bye. He might be living on. I don't want to be fielding 19 in round 12. So Durham seems like Rochelle to Durham seems fairly set, and then I can basically go to anyone from that. So I was on Zorko, but you said Rain, so that's gone away. But what's our thoughts on Bont? Basically, that's my ramble. Are we scared? Are we scared about Bont's injury?
Oh, sorry, Tom.
Yeah, no. Go on, Bails.
Go to you first, Bails. Thoughts?
Yeah,
on
I like Bont. I think whenever you can get an Uber pre and mid top of the line for under $1 million when they've dropped, like every time someone's dropped in price, you always try and look at why have they dropped in price, and you look at that 28 you scored with where he got the knee injury and he got tagged by Mullen, dropped a heap in cash after that, and he's just popped the 143. Okay, the knee is still an issue. I think I saw a tweet today saying he was still looking a little bit ginger at training, but that's going to be the case probably for a couple of weeks until the swelling and everything goes down, and then they have maybe a week off of their bye, and obviously they've got the last bye, right? But I still think that he's a good pick. Last week it gave me, last 2 weeks actually, it's given me confidence. He's still been able to get through the game, look good doing it, scored back-to-back tons. I think, okay, might not average 120 for the next month or so, but he's got an amazing run back end of the year. I think we're all going to want him, and this is probably the cheapest you're going to get him.
Yeah, I totally agree. For what it's worth, I'm going Bont this week. And I said to Kman earlier this week, I think it was on our last episode, that I'm just kind of done being worried about like whether a player is going to get rested or not. And that will probably come back to bite me at some point. But there's part of me that just goes, I wonder if we actually collectively put a little bit too much stock into that kind of stuff. And if we look at what Bont did last week, obviously he's got some niggles and stuff, but he looked freaking awesome last week. I think about like Lockie Neal last year, who was meant to be out for the season and then used, freaking Superman chambers to come back to, near perfect health or whatever in time for the grand final. I think about like Josh Dunkley. What did he have? Like a grade 3 syndesmosis injury or something that would put most people into the surgery room, and he played out like the back third of the season. I just feel like these elite guys are built a little bit different, and I know that's not top tier analysis or anything. It's just kind of like
they're the ultimate
vibe, gut feel stuff, and
they do everything they can to prepare, recover,
totally.
And like, okay, they might not train much during the week, but they'll play. And Bont doesn't need to train during the week. We know how good he is. He could, again, we said you could go on one leg and he'd still be arguably one of the best players in the comp still. So, he's a gun.
Yeah. The one positive as well from that is if that does bring 2 defensive rookies onto my ground, which is a little bit smelly. And I can't loop because it would have Todd Marshall who plays on Friday night. Fabulous. I'd have to just name up 2 rookies and go with that. But I don't see Carroll or Blamires being any worse on paper than Rechko or Anderson or Cumming. I kind of see them all of that. Could drop a 40 any given week, could get an 80 or a 90 any given week, depending on if they get on a hot wing or they go chippy. I'd probably go Carroll just because they're playing my rabble.
They're playing Richmond. Are you a Richmond fan now?
Oh, they're playing Richmond. They're playing Richmond. I mean, I may as well. We're both as bad as each other.
It's same diff at this point, isn't it?
So, sorry.
I mean, you could also look at it as like Bont could, he's up against Carlton. Bont could go 130 tonight, which, even if you get a slightly lower rookie score, if he gives you a ceiling score, which he really could do against Carlton, that can kind of offset that a little bit and kind of, that's not as painful. I guess on the Rochelle side of things, I really like moving off of Rochelle, but I want to pounce on this because after work today, I was on grounds duty on the street. I had to, watch the cars and all of that. And from behind me, a crazed voice yelled something, and it was my co-host. And he called out of the car, asked Tom Hales about Jordan De Goey tonight. So,
yes.
Would you go from Rochelle to Jordan De Goey?
So Jordan De Goey is the other one in the south. So shout out to Taser. We have had discussions this week about which one to go, Durham or De Goey. And there's nothing behind this. I'm going Durham because he's younger, generally fitter, less propensity to get a rest.
Coming up too.
Yeah.
And great run. But both of them have got good runs, to be fair. But the downside of that, he is coached by a Scott. And at least Chris Scott, you can generally see his thought process. Brad Scott, I can't for 95% of the things he does as a coach. So they could be a Will Setterfield parachuted in the fortnight and then he's dead as a pick. But I'm willing to bet on the younger player, the emerging player, back-to-back 90s. I think it's a safer 75 than De Goey. I think De Goey has the ceiling to go 120 plus or 100 plus. I don't maybe see that from Durham, but if De Goey plays forward, he can drop a 45 quite easily. So I'm going Durham. I like De Goey, better break even, lower price. So that is definitely an option if we're shopping in the budget bargain forward options. But I've decided to go for the younger man. Both are good picks. Oh, both are potentially good picks.
Bails, how about you, mate? Are your trades locked in this week, or have you got some therapizing that you need?
Yeah, I think they are locked in. The Naz out certainly stressed me out for a bit there, thinking, crap, what am I going to do? It sucks that I've got to miss Roby, but it is what it is. So mine are pretty straightforward. It's just Naz to Sinclair, just across. Don't have any DPP, but just going across there. And I did bank 443k, so it's allowed me to still get a rookie upgrade on the other side. So going Dersma up to Bont, which I think is a big upgrade, getting a rookie. I still like Dersma. I still think he's got a good run. Giants, Collingwood, Essendon. I just think that we've seen last couple of weeks he has slowed down a bit. The TOG has just taken about a 5% sort of decrease. So you just think that they're just going, well, you're playing inside mid now. We're not going to allow you to play 85% TOG like you were on a wing. Let's bring it back to mid-70s. So, yeah, I don't think he gets rest or anything like that unless he desperately needs it. But I just think Tanner Bruin I've probably got a bit more confidence in. He turned up, 3 of his previous 4 before last week. Myers out of the side, Myers into the side, means he probably goes back onto that half-back / wing type role that we saw him scoring quite well in. So I think that I'm doing that. And then, you sort of get me thinking, though, about the weather tonight. Do I just go Bruin up to Bont, have an extra 100K for next week, and then upgrade Dersma? Because my big plan next week is to go Nick Dacos with the run that they've got coming up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I remember you mentioning Nick Dacos earlier this week, and I thought I need to take a look at that for next week as well. I don't want what I said about the weather to totally change all of your trade plans, and then you be stinky with me and not come back on the pod. But it probably is worth noting. I think it's going to be a really gross game. But I think it's a good point of everyone seems to be jumping off Tanner Bruin this week. It seems to be, I'm seeing online a lot of double sideways trades, a lot of, Bruin to someone and Steele to someone, or Bruin to someone and Rochelle to somebody. And I just wonder if like you just said, he's done a couple of back-to-back tons. He had one not so good game last week. If that role restores itself or something that, he could give you a 75 on any given week as well. And I think if he's down at your M7 or 8 at this point in the season, that's probably okay.
And
did you say you were going from Dersma to Bont?
The thing with Tanner Bruin as well.
Yeah.
The thing with Tanner Bruin as well is that he scored a 63. He scored 9 points less than Dersma, and he had an awful role. So you think if the role gets a bit better, he scores the same as Dersma. Yep. He's got the bigger ceiling, obviously. Dersma had that big ton against. I can't remember who it was against that he had a few weeks ago. Maybe it might have been against the Saints where Dersma went big. But he's been, the thing is, he's been consistent, right? He's gone over 70 in 5 straight games. So it's and he's gone over 69 in all but one game. So it's maybe so I'm tossing just up whether Dersma or Bruin goes, I guess, is that you have the extra 100K. The other one probably goes next week because they probably go to Nick Dacos at this stage.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, we've also...
I like it. Do you have any thoughts, Tom?
Yeah, we've also seen... I'm holding Bruin. I think we've also seen Bruin can tackle. He's not absolutely against tackling. 7 tackles against North Melbourne, 4 tackles against Port Adelaide. Sorry, I'm having to do the 5 against Western Bulldogs.
Translate in your head.
7 tackles against the Eagles before that. If it is a wet, scrappy game, he can tackle. So he might. I think he's going to have that more around the contest role. With the ins. So I'm not. I'm definitely. He might go poorly, but I think the weather doesn't. He's not a purely outside player who's relying on 5+ marks to get to a score. So I'm if he scores anywhere 80+, you're just happy, and he might be your vessel next week. I think Bruin outscores Will Dersma this week.
Yeah.
So
and then just on Rochelle as well, because obviously I'm holding him. Obviously it's sort of a bit of force because I'm doing a couple other trades, but just sort of comment on it being the Crows man is that I think he will actually see a bum in CBAs this week. I just see Foss and Simpkin tagging Rankin and trying to go there. If there's ever a game where someone said, hello, tag me, put my hand up, it was last week from Rankin. He obviously went absolutely massive, career best games as a midfielder. I just think that North will definitely be going there in some shape or form with someone, which I think means that he may push a little bit more forward to take, say, like a Finn O'Sullivan, a bit like Merritt did in that game about 6 or 7 weeks ago against Essendon. And I think that means Rochelle gets a bump as well. I think with Fogarty back in the side, it also means that there's an extra forward there that will push him a little bit up. And I think the plan with me is I'm looking at Murdoch in my midfield and just going, well, I don't like any of the forwards. I'm not confident in any of them. Why don't I just wait a couple of weeks? Okay, I'll cop a 60, 70K cash loss, which isn't great, but it is what it is. Put Murdoch at F6, trade Rochelle to a midfielder in a couple of weeks' time and have it probably go there.
No, it makes sense to me. And I think Rochelle's been the question this week. So look, that's probably a pretty good segue to my trades. I talked on your pod earlier this week, and I've not changed those trades. I think this is actually the firmest I've been this season. So I'm looking at Farrow. Farrow's got to go. He's bleeding cash. I don't want him to drop below 600. So I'm looking at Farrow and Rochelle out for Bont and insert generic defender rookie. Like, I'll wait for teams to come out tonight, and if some debutant is named in defense, I'll just chuck them in because they'll be dirt cheap and they might get a roll. Otherwise, I'm also happy to chuck in a red dot. Kind of also depends what happens with Watkins, because if he's not named, then he's still kind of my loop. But if he is named, then I sort of need a loop this week. For me, I just want Rochelle out of my team. And if he gets more CBAs this week and he scores like an 85, I'm totally fine with not getting his 85. Because when I brought in Toby Murray, it allowed me to flick Cook into my midfield last week, and I liked having him on field with Murdoch last week. What that's meant for me this week is that by trading out of Rochelle, I can just flick Cook back to my forward line. Cook's in there at F6. And I can use that DPP to bring in
lock that away 100%.
In the midfield. So that's just an easy lock away. I think gives me like, geez, what have I got in the bank? Gives me 250k to take into next week as well. So if I'm potentially looking at like a Nick Dacos, that's going to help me a lot. So that one's easy for me. And for once, I don't think I need anyone to talk me in or out of it.
Elite trade is no.
I'm talking about Rochelle, like talking about a little bit to try and hope that, but that's more because I've got to hope this week. So I'm just saying, well, there's the positives I'm looking at there. Yeah, exactly.
Like
so I think he doesn't go. I don't think he goes under 60, hopefully, and he gets a little bit of a bump and maybe goes. I'll be happy with 85, to be honest. He'll drop 20k. I can then eat another 20k the week after, and then trade him to a midfield. So that's fine. But no, you lock those away. Rashida Bont, big upgrade.
Easy. All right, let's get to some listener questions. Now, I kind of preempted, because it's always awkward, this episode, a little bit, because it doesn't release till Friday, because we can never get it out in time ahead of the Thursday night footy. So inevitably, we get questions about Thursday night footy, and then we feel bad because we don't answer them. So real quick, I'll just list off for you. I put this in the comments on the thread on Twitter. I just said, my Brisbane Geelong answers preemptively. You can trade in Hugh McCluggage. You can trade out Tanner Bruin, but he's not a priority. Baslanka, too expensive, poor run. Max Holmes, too expensive, poor run. I wouldn't trade in Brian Myers. Better forward options than Jezza, and rookies equal weight for team release. Do you disagree with any of those points, or do you have any to add just as a fun afterthought?
The only point that I want to add, because he was in my trade plans once he said it's chucking it down, was Dane Zorko. So he's down at 963, I believe, priced at around 100. Yeah. I'm keen to get on, but it might not be this week with it just being wet. His break even still at 134. I think I'm happy to wait another one. And then I think he's going to be absolutely ripe in that mid to low 900s and probably will be the trade-in guy next week. I think the run for Brisbane is fairly decent. GWS, I mean, they've been giving up points to defenders left, right, and centre into Freo, Gold Coast, Richmond before the bye. I think I just want to stock up on my Brisbane players and enjoy one of the highest scoring fantasy teams and having all of their players in an easy run.
Oh yeah, I would love to jump on Dane Zorko, but I already have like 4 Brisbane players, and like I was not looking at my buy structure. I have every round 15 buy player, I swear. So I can't do it. It's going to be a rough round 15 for me. But
but you have time, right? With buy structure,
totally.
Round 15 being late, you can start trading those guys. Round 14, if you're light in round 14, you can get off a week early. Given Brisbane do play at Richmond. Just so you know.
Before we get into the listener questions, and Bails, I'll throw to you for the first one. Before we get into them, I just have a question for you guys. Did either of you happen to see the Twitter thread that I posted by any chance? Do you ever see the trade therapy thread that I post?
I think so. I don't think I saw it on this week, but I do see it pop up.
So The reason I ask is because I always use the same GIF. And this week, Kman finally said that he finds the GIF really creepy. And I want to just get some other perspectives on this. Do you find this GIF creepy at all? Just out of curiosity.
Just by the way, as we're recording, apparently Caleb Windsor set to miss round 10. So if anyone's still got Caleb Windsor, that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, yes, that's very scary.
Windsor and Nass. Ooh, that's not ideal.
Yeah, a little bit creepy. I can understand.
Right, that makes him a little creepy now because it's like right at the same time. Yeah,
that's funny.
Okay, all right, that's enough. Bails, I'll throw to you, mate. I'm going to go from the bottom of this thread. So Jack Bannerman asks, "Hey boys, which of these options do we prefer?" With a Nass to Bont. So it looks like he's locked in Nass to Bont this week. Dersma to Callahan or Kirch to Zorko. And then there's Rochelle to Hill or Lombard to Durham. So I'll ask you about Dersma to Callahan versus Kirch to Zorko first.
Geez, that's a tough question. Dersma Callahan's an upgrade. Obviously getting a rookie off field, which is nice. I jumped on Callahan a couple of weeks ago, and I knew this was the flag on Callahan, right? But he just doesn't have that ceiling. Like he had 30 touches against Gold Coast and scored a flat 100, and last week against Essendon scored 95. They just don't. It's just everything's run through the defenders, right? For Giants, they essentially bypass the mids. We've said this for a while, and Callahan is very like. And I can't remember where I heard this from. I heard it on a pod, somewhere. Apologies, I can't shout at the person who said it, but with Tom Green being out of that side, instead of Callahan getting the handball receive and then being the one that kicks it, he's the one this year that's actually having to get the handball out because Oliver is in and under, but Oliver does a lot of the time just bang it on the boot forward and just get the big clearance and pump it inside 50. Doesn't really look for the short handball there, whereas Callahan seems to be that guy. So don't know if Giants didn't make a tweak there or something, but Dersma Callahan's an upgrade. It works for buys. I think he's got a good run, so he's probably still going to average about 100, but I was probably more bullish about being a 105 guy. I'm probably close to 100 now than probably that 105.
Yeah, okay. So I guess in isolation, then you probably take the Zorko.
But then this one, right? So Colby has gone 1986 in his last two. He's got Adelaide this week, so it's not great. But then he goes on a really nice run after his bye. So it really, I think, comes down to how many round 12 guys have you got. If you're not too heavy with round 12, I think I'd almost hold Colby at this point, just with the good run coming up. You'll get probably an 85-ish average from him over the next 6 weeks. But then, so it really comes down to 80. So you're getting Colby's a mid-80s guy, probably. You're going to Zorko's probably about 100, 105. So you get 15, 20 points. Dersma's what, 70, 75 probably from here. I think I'd probably take a slight downturn a tiny bit. You're looking at Callahan, who's about 100, probably getting about 20, 25 points. So I think you're probably getting more of an upgrade doing the Callahan one just based on numbers, I think.
I agree. Can I throw a spanner in the works? Kman has been really keen this week on LDU. So I'm a guy who's had LDU all season, and it's not a name that I would have thought about trading in, but he's got a really juicy run coming up, like for the next 8 weeks kind of thing.
Is that a good thing for LDU though?
Let's say it's like it doesn't have to be Callahan.
Is that a good thing for LDU? Sorry? Because if you look at his tons this year and the games he's played, he turned up against the Bombers in round 3. Then he turned up against Brisbane and Sydney, right? Every other game has been 90s and 80s, right? It's been solid. So I feel like, is he the guy that goes one against the better teams and then worse against the less teams just because then guys like Shees and that? Do you think that might be the case there? Because he's got a great run, but is he going to then take advantage of it and average 100, 105?
Yeah, I've got a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
If you're going to go LDU, can it interest you in a Josh Dunkley? At same price, like 2K difference. Averages 98 in his last 3.
Yeah.
Roll is getting better. As in, like, the game is slowing down, it's becoming more contested. Rain tonight. Great run.
Could be a good game tonight, actually, for him, to be fair.
Great, like, conditions for him tonight into GWS, then Freo, Gold Coast, Richmond, Then he has a tougher one against Sydney, Geelong, Essendon, West Coast. Like the Brisbane run forever is amazing, apart from like, the odd game here and there. I just think I'd rather go in the bet. If I had to choose, I think I'd go with the guy in the better fantasy team.
Yeah,
but
sure.
But it depends on. And LDU's round 12, so it depends on what you like in round 12.
I think ultimately what this question probably comes down to is like in isolation, we probably go Callahan over the Zorko trade just because that's probably more of an upgrade over a Dersma. However, I think there are probably some other options that you can look at, and I'm not keen to jump on the Callahan trade. So maybe you can shop in Josh Dunkley.
Newman DPP.
What I was going to say about LDU was Newman. I don't mind Newman. I think you can get him this week. So I don't hate it.
We'll find out in 20 minutes. The
second part of this question. We will, that's right. The second part of this question, Tom, Rochelle to Brad Hill or Lombard to Durham with an F7 to loop option.
Oh. Bradley Hill. He's been very good. He's winning people draft leagues around the country. He's not gone below.
No, I've barely opened the app.
Yeah. The draft coach. He's not gone below 80 this year. He's also only had 2 tons. He's been between 80 and 100 like every week. I can't honestly, Richmond this week, can't argue. If you want to go Brad Hill, he's safe. I was going to say it's safe. His scores say it's safe. The only slight flag with him is he's obviously quite a versatile player. He's playing off the half-back line, has done all year, but can easily move onto a forward flank or a wing. And if he does, then his scoring becomes a lot more volatile. I think I had him last year in draft, and he had like a couple of 130s, but then a couple of 30s. So
3 weeks.
You can definitely do it. He's definitely... Yeah, Naz is out for 3 weeks. Naz out for 3 weeks. Does that push a Sinclair in there if they want a bit more speed? Possibly.
Well, I guess with Wilkie out, they probably need Sinclair down back, really bolstering that back line as well. Because I think he's out for this week as well. I think he's confirmed out for this week. I'll double check it. I think he's confirmed out this week.
We'll find out in 22 minutes at Teams.
We will.
Yeah, okay. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. And the other part of the question, I'm obviously going Durham. As an F7 loop, I'm not sure we're in a position. I think I'd be trying to spend. I'd either be getting a rookie, I'd be getting Roby, or I'd be getting Durham on field. I think I'd be doing one or the other there. I think getting a loop this early just seems a little bit too. Like 700k on your bench seems a little bit too tricky. But that's just my thoughts in round 10.
By the way, just as an aside, Kman's just messaged me. Did you discuss De Goey? Yes, Kman, when you listen to this back, we've discussed De Goey. All right, Bailey asks. Bailey is... love him. Bailey asks, Amon and Newman or Zorko and Tom Stewart or someone cheaper than Tom Stewart? Well, yes. I'm going Amon and Newman there personally. But Bails, I'm going to throw to you, mate, as the resident Tom Stewart aficionado.
You cannot go Tom Stewart. He will ruin your year. He will ruin your fantasy year. He'll ruin everything, right? So great player. Congrats on the 200 games last week for Tommy Stewart. He's been a great player for football. Fantasy though, look at his last 5. He's gone, and he hasn't got injured in any of these. He's gone 46, 63, 94, 50, 80, and that 80 was against Collingwood, who are one of the best matchups for defenders. So he's not the guy that we saw 3-4 years ago that was taking all the kick-ins. It was like the main distributor out there. They've got Lawson Humphreys. Max Holmes is in defence as well. I think that's probably the big thing. Max Holmes being in defence has taken a few kick-ins, taken a lot of distributing back there. So just to watch on DPP for Max Holmes, by the way. Got a couple of tough matchups to come, but then we'll get DPP, be an option in the buys. But yeah, Tom Stewart, not for me. The only thing is Amon, though. Amon's been good, and you look at his price and you go, okay, he's 883. It's not a bad price when you look at it, right? But he's priced over 90 now. So he's priced, I think, 92, 93. And I think decent that we're talking about in a Hat Chat Live about it last night is that is he really enough value? Like he's got to have essentially a career best year from this point onwards to be a good pick. I like Zorko on the other option, right? If you said to me, could you go Zorko on Buderick maybe? Defender forward, you flick Buderick forward in a couple of weeks maybe. But I don't love that either. It was Newman as well, wasn't it? Newman and Amon. That was I think that's Newman the option I'm going with because Amon at least has got a good run coming up for defenders. So worst case, you hold him for a few weeks.
Great.
And then you can trade him out at the buy if you've got your team sorted.
Yep, true.
I'll just sort of wonder, is there a way you could maybe trade a different player out, get Zorko and Newman? Probably not because you're asking the question, but yeah, Amon and Newman for me.
Yeah, I think it is Amon and Newman. I mean, you are playing Fantasy 2019. I think Selby won that year. You're discussing those trades. I think the average age of the play. I think the average age of those four players is about 35. No, I think it's actually quite clearly Amon and Newman. Amon's been great last three with great matchups, but the great matchups don't stop for Hawthorn. Next week Adelaide's tougher, but 3 of the next 4 are big green. With that run with obviously Melbourne this week are good for defenders. Adelaide's tough. Then it's St Kilda under the roof as well, and then the Western Bulldogs. So it's just a nice run. You can definitely do that.
I did mention with Bont earlier, right, that there was a reason why we're jumping on, right? We know the reason why he's cheap, right? Why was Amon so poor in the first 6 rounds? Like he didn't go over 90. His top score was 86 in that point, and he had 3 scores below 80. Like, why did he score so poor? Like, we don't know if haven't heard anything about injury. Was it just that there's so many players back there that they're just going to keep sort of going, oh, this goal score more, this goal score more. You got Sicily and Impey, and when Scrimshaw's there, he takes some of the points. Josh Battle's actually been really good as well for draft coaches who got in there. So it's like, why has Amon been so good? It's just they've been chipping it around more. Like, I don't know. Like, can't put my finger on why he was so poor to start the season.
Good matchups, just good matchups. But I think it's just he seems to be very much relaying the fixture difficulty. When teams allow them to chip it, he gets those easy marks. When teams don't, he doesn't score. And the Hawthorn system doesn't mind that. Like, it's not dependent on him being the guy who racks up 25 touches with 10 marks.
I think it was Carl Amon who ruined Luke Rogerson's fantasy season a couple of years ago. So maybe we should ask him, perhaps. Henza,
but he's the kind of
guy on Twitter says, So sorry, I'm just aware of time. We've got like 12 more of these.
Sorry.
he says, get a feet and then in brackets leg ends. I like that. That's good. That's
really good view.
Thanks, Henza. First trade is Farah to Roby. Second is looking at Rochelle to De Goey and banking 419K and fielding Josh Lindsay, or Jack Sinclair / Lockie Ash, banking 50 to 75K and fielding Roby. Having said this, Sinclair or Ash locks my defense line with 6 defensive primos. Tom, mate, what do you reckon?
Oh, I think I'm just getting the defenders. And I think I'm getting Sinclair.
But I don't like Lockie Ash. I wouldn't be getting Lockie Ash.
As a Lockie Ash owner, this could go one or two ways. I hope the midfield experiment is over. If the midfield experiment is over, good to be a Lockie Ash owner. If it's not, bad to be a Lockie Ash owner. I think they killed that at 3/4 time last week, and he got like a 40-point final quarter to save himself to get to a half-decent score. I think I'm going Sinclair, and I think I'm going points on field, and just stomaching Roby. If Roby scores a 50, you're winning.
I kind of don't love the idea of banking 420 grand and only getting to De Goey or something. I just feel like I'd rather, get the primo on field, still have 50 to 75K, and be good to go. Bails, Josh asks, Rochelle to Bont is locked in. Trade 2, Nas to Whitfield or Sinclair, or Farrow to anyone under 750K in any position?
I think it's definitely the first option, and I'd go Whitfield, I think, over Sinclair. I'm pretty sure I heard that Kingsley said this Ash experiment in the midfield, they're going to be using it for a little bit to come. It's not just going to be that they're going to stop it. I'm sure they can pull the lever of him going back, but I think they've got Whitfield there, and Fonte's probably taken a big step this year. So they're like, well, we've got the two guys there. So Whitfield he takes every kick in. Every kick in last week he was on the ground for, he didn't take one, and that was when Ash was in defence and Ash took one. Every other kick in, Whitfield took. And Essendon were fairly accurate last week, by the way. It was actually really annoying me. I really want Essendon to miss some more goals. So Whitfield, we keep getting some kick-ins. So Whitfield, all the kick-ins, he's getting plenty of touches. And we know when Whitfield is the main guy back there, he averages 110. That's been what he's done the last few years when Ash hasn't been there or hasn't been as prominent. So I just think you go there, you get what you pay for. Yep, but he's got a good buy, good run coming up, ticks all the boxes. I like Sinclair as well, but I've got Whitfield ahead this week.
I like Whitfield too. Adam says, lads, is it Bruin to Roby and Rochelle to Roberts, or Bruin to Roby and Jai Sarong to any defender under 1.081 million? Can loop Sarong with Grill or Blamires if he's named. I'd have to look up who's under 1.081 million.
Most of them.
1.081 million is, most of them, right? I mean, Whitfield is under 1.081.
Yeah, it's hard to know without knowing exactly who he earns. But if you're going to do that, Sinclair, who else don't I mind?
Is it any position or is it just defender?
I think it's just defender specifically, any defender under 1.08. Because you've got Whitfield,
Well,
you've got Sinclair, you've potentially.
What was the
got
other trade?
Zorko.
What was the other trade again?
Trade was Bruin to Roby or Rochelle to Roberts. I think I'd probably be skipping Roberts for a Whitfield.
So you're doing Rochelle. You're effectively doing Rochelle to Roby and Bruin to Roberts. That's kind of how that trade is.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, you can. It's a lot. Like, as a Roberts owner, he's awesome. But have we not? We're learning this. We've learned this year that you're paying up for these guys. You're paying so much money. Like, Roberts is priced at nearly 120. I know he went amazing last week, and he's going amazing. He scored 85 2 weeks ago. If you're paying up 120 for a guy going 85, just begging to lose coin. Yeah, I think I'm probably getting Whitfield.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Whitfield or Sinclair.
For me, it's that option. You go Whitfield if you don't have him. If you've got him, you go Sinclair. If you've got both those two, you're probably looking at what Zorko or a Josh Dacos. I think is probably the next option for me, depending on whoever works better for your buy structure. There, if you've already got a Newman and a Houston, Zorko probably works better. So I'd probably say Zorko just ahead, but. Josh Dacos getting some CBAs at training. I'm shocked that they haven't tried that more this year with Houston going so well back there. And how good he was against, we keep going back to that Gold Coast game last year for Josh Dacos when he was amazing, nearly won him the game. So maybe they experiment with that a bit more back half of the year. So maybe you could go there.
Could you still go Bailey Dale? Is that still an option? More. We still worried about Budrick.
Probably
I went
probably over 900k now, and your Budrick back is probably just gone. Yeah, he's probably not an option now. If
901.
more name on.
Bails Thelina Garouge. Okay, this is an interesting one. Held English through his injury, and now he's injured again. What do I do with him now? Wants to improve the team. McAndrew might be out. Also have Nas. So if McAndrew plays, they reckon English survives. But what do we do here?
Well, I think
You've still got English.
I think if you've got McAndrew as your R3, you just hold, right? There's no reason to trade. You're sort of going to another. You're going probably down, or you're going to another ruck. The option you've got is if you go English out, and you go all the way down, right? You could play McAndrew, bank a lot of cash, then use as an upgrade cadence for a few weeks while we've got no rookies. Or you could go to a set and forget ruck. You go McAndrew down the buys, you get a lot of cash. But I just think because you got such good cover there, you just leave English there. The hope is he's back next week. He might miss another week or so. You just leave him there for the time being. You don't have to waste a trade. Then when when English is back, McAndrew goes down in the buys. You got 3 trades. You bank a lot of cash, and then that probably funds you both of your upgrades that week. So say round 13 or round 12, you go McAndrew down to a red dot. You get your 500k. Probably gets you 2 fattened rookies after 2 premiums. So I think that you just hold. You trade Naz and you trade whichever other player you're going to be trading. If McAndrew's out this week, which you guys will know by now, I think you probably then have to fix up probably one of English or McAndrew. You probably fix up. Who would you guys go if McAndrew is out? Would you fix up English at that point?
English. Yeah, I think I'd go. I think I'd just try and go English and Nas to 2 premiums. I think I'd be sideways into 2 fully fledged premiums.
Yeah, I think so. And then just forget about it after that and move on. All right. Matt W says, hey guys, what to prioritize? Nas to Sinclair or Bruin to Bont? Rochelle to De Goey currently is the other trade. Could also do Nas to Amon and Bruin to Bont and hold Rochelle until next week. We've kind of touched on the Carl Amon having a great run, but is kind of risky. So I guess this question ultimately boils down to, do we prefer Nas to Sinclair or do we prefer Bruin to Bont? I am personally on Bont. I just think this is the week to get him. If he goes big again, he kind of explodes. Except it's Nas. So no, I changed my mind. Sinclair, get rid of Nas.
You have to. Nas is out for 3 weeks. Nas is out for 3 weeks.
I guess the one thing I'd say, right, if you really want Bont this week, then if you really want Bont this week, you hold Rochelle and you just go Nas down to a Zorko. If you've got enough cash, then go up to Bont, or you go down to it, or a Nick
or Amon. I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't mind Amon in that situation. You just hold Rochelle and go, please get a 70, and cheer every disposal.
I like that. That's a really good point. Is you can combine those trades actually, because Bails, I guess so many people are going to be holding Rochelle this week anyway. Yeah. So you're kind of, I guess, sheltered by the safety of those numbers. So if you just move off of Nas, get in someone with a little bit more value, and then if you can still get Bruin up to Bont, I really like that suggestion.
Rochelle has taken a step this year. He is now, even in the forward role, a better fantasy scorer and better fantasy player than he probably has been in the past. Even in the forward role, he's going to lose cash, but he will get a score which is comparable enough that he will not be the reason you have a bad week.
Yeah.
He's not. I don't think he's going to drop a 35 and be the reason you have a bad week. It might be a 65, 70, which isn't going to be the reason.
If he goes back to back 70s,
you can
hold
this
45k in 2 weeks. If he goes back to back 70s or mid 70s, so you're probably not going to lose. I think people are worried they're going to lose 50k in 1 week. As you say, I don't see Rochelle dropping a 40 or 50 like he did in previous years playing forward. He still gets up the ground. He's still going to have 20% CBAs or thereabouts, worst case. But there's obviously the upside of him going a little bit more. I know he dropped a 54 against Brisbane, but Crows were just bad in that game. So.
All right, we'll speed run these last 3. Brisbane Fantasy says they only have 3 rooks left on field, and they've avoided the Nas bullet as well. So their question is, am I fixing F5 or /6 this week with Rochelle / Bailey Williams to a Boderick or a Durham, or are they being aggressive and taking a Farrow or a Dersma up to a Bont and the other one down to a rook?
That was Farrow to Bont. I think you do that, right? You probably do that and you do another rookie downgrade on the other end. I don't mind fixing a Bailey Williams because take out that 115, he's gone 44, 61, 69, 69. So, but then again, you said if you've got DPP, maybe could you go Williams to Bont? Maybe I'm assuming probably not. Otherwise, you probably would have done that. But yeah, I think it's Farrah to Bont. You leave Williams there for a week. He's got Giants this week, so hopefully he puts up a good score for you and you can move on next week. So I'd go get Bont.
Yeah.
Punt
Tom, do you agree,
forwards.
mate?
Punt forwards. Forwards don't matter.
That was, you know what? That was my strategy in draft this year was punt forwards, and I punted it too far.
Yeah, same.
I like that.
Same.
I took track, and then I punted everything else by 4 rounds too far, and then track was injured, and I went to the bottom of the ladder. It was no good. Jaden says, "Hey boys, love the content. Thank you very much, Jaden. Which option do you guys prefer? Nas to Bont using DPP, and McKercher to Newman, leaving him with 5K in the bank for next week, or Nas to Roberts and Dev Rob down to a red dot with 250K in the bank for next week." Tom, what are your thoughts, mate?
I would not be doing. I would be getting Bont tick. I would then do a rookie fix up on the other side. I'd do a Dev Rob to Roby.
Yeah, okay.
I think that is the better combination. I think Newman, there's too much unknown. He landed up on a wing last week. I just don't think he is the trading this week. And I think that's super, super sideways from McKercher and kind of unnecessarily sideways. You're getting a average defender to another average defender. So just do your rookie upgrade, regenerate your bench, and get that amazing upgrade, or amazing in of Bont on the other end.
Bails, what about you, mate? Do you agree?
I'm more bullish on Newman. So if I had to pick one, it would be the Newman option with Bont. But in saying that, I think if you've already got a red dot in your side somewhere, I'd go Dev Rob to Roby because the rookies are running out. If you can jump on Roby this week, you're getting on a rookie that not many of us can jump on.
Yeah.
I'm a bit more bullish as well on Roby than what a few others are. I think he can actually average mid to high 60s over the next few weeks. So with these good matchups to come, he's going to get more midfield time with the fact that Sharp's out. Caldwell comes back in. Yes, so it's probably not going to be a 60% midfield Rob. He's probably going to get 30, 40% CBAs, gets up the ground, big body, looked good last week. So I think that he's a decent rookie to jump on. Good for the buys as well. He'll play for you. He'll cover you through those games. And with some good matchups, could pop an 80 or a 90 and help you out a bit.
Yeah, I'm also with you. Like, I actually don't mind Newman this week. I have a feeling next week is going to be too late in terms of cost, but I just think it's with the coaching shakeup. Like, I see a world where, we saw the stuff with the wing last week, and
he looked
who
awful
knows, that could happen again. But I also see a world where the new coach just goes, chuck him in half back. That's where he does the most damage for us. But yeah, I don't know. I get why people are wary. Last question is from Matt. Is it too early to trade a red dot rookie in? Nas to Bont, first trade. Second trade will be Farrow down, depending on bench scores of Strong and Bruin. Chase value every week. When I didn't have Bullet, now is it time to get points on field? So that first question is basically the question. Is it too early to trade in a red dot rookie? I feel like this is dependent on your bench health, right? For me, it's like I'm considering trading in a red dot rookie this week only because I have all playing rookies at this stage. The only one I've really potentially missed is Sullivan Roby. I'd get him this week if I could afford him, but I can't because I want to get Bont. But I feel like if I was in a much worse position with my rookie, with my bench, I wouldn't be thinking about doing it. And I also think if you've already got a red dot, you shouldn't be trading in a second one. Do you agree with that, Tom?
Yeah, 100%. Like your cash is going well. That's great. Don't now throw away your great work by abandoning ship too early. Like in my good year, when I finished second, that is my biggest learning from the years. I would have won that if I didn't throw away my bench too early. And I'm talking about post buys throwing away my bench too early. So with pre-buys, like I would be looking for a playing guy, because even if a playing guy makes 50k over 3 weeks and gets dropped, that 50k might be useful somewhere at the end of the year or during the buys to get that trade you want to. So I would always look for playing guys, unless maybe if you're like doing so well and you've got 30 green dots, then maybe. But other than that, I'm always looking for playing guys at this time of year.
Bails, are you in the same? You agree?
Yeah.
Same
If you've got 30 green dots, I don't mind getting a red dot. I prefer it to be in the ruck line. Obviously, if you can't get it in the ruck line, you've got to get it somewhere else. I'd aim to get a play you think's going to play. Like if you go in defence, for example, and you can get Lockie Carmichael, I think at some point he's going to play. Just a matter of when. I think it's a matter of when, not if. So I'd probably go there if you need to get a red dot. I guess this is just a tricky thing, right? With all the mid-rooks we brought in, a lot of us are stuck with a Farrow, Sarong, Blamires type, maybe two of them are on defender bench, and we're sort of just waiting for a defender rookie to come through. So if you've got to go to get that cash, try and grab one that's playing. But if you've got 2-3 green dots already, I'd try and get someone that's at least playing for you that maybe can pop some good scores for you.
Sweet. That has been Trade Therapy, everyone, where we answer all of your questions. Thank you so much for sending them in and supporting the pod. Last, before we get to the outro, captains and vice captains. What's our captain's call this week? Bails, mate, who are you running into who? I don't know how to phrase that. Rolling into who?
Who's your VC? Who's your VC and
rolling
C?
into someone? Yeah. Who's
Yeah.
rolling into rolling? There you go.
So,
VC and C.
at the moment, I've been tossing. I don't know if you guys have seen the same thing. Right, there are a lot of good options this week. I think we're going to have a better round this week with some ceiling scores, some good matchups for our players. I've got Dev Rob there, and he's my only VC loop. But obviously, that I'm risking not have because Lombard plays early. I'm risking not having that emergency if someone were to miss. So, but I've got the ability to change a trade and just keep Naz and trade that forward, right? But at the moment, I'm going Archie Roberts vice captain. So he's got the ceiling that I want to have a crack at him as a VC. Good matchup. Freo, who are a good matchup for defenders, also at the MCG, wide open ground. I think Roberts will go well. Into Lockie Whitfield as my captain at the moment. I just think with Ash playing up the ground more, he's got the ceiling there. I do like Butters and Sinclair, though, and also Sheasel. They're the ones that I've considered as like VCs and having him there, but Roberts into Whitfield for me.
Beautiful. Love it. Tom, mate, how about you?
I've got something completely different as my VC. I've got Brodie Grundy against the Kman-less Collingwood into Lockie Whitfield.
Like it. Yeah,
So
Brodie. I think a lot of people are going to be scared off Brodie Grundy this week after last week, and so that could be a really cheeky one. I'm tempted to just go Bont because it'll be like the new pretty shiny thing in my team, and Carl's
Nothing wrong with that
matchup. So I might go Bont VC, and then Eljax, Roberts, Sinclair, all great options. Sinclair has burned me once this year as a captain option, but obviously Richmond historically a pretty elite matchup
went over 130
so I'll have
in both games.
a plethora of decisions to make.
So
yeah. So could be, and no Wilkie, no Nas. He could absolutely clean up the park, I reckon.
Wilkie's named, by the way.
That's it. I think we're done.
Wilkie is named.
Oh, he is named. All right. There is a Wilkie. There's no Nas. Probably doesn't help too much. That's it. We're done. Thank you so much for joining us, listeners. And big thanks to you guys for jumping on. I think I messaged you both this morning and asked if you could fill a hole in the pod tonight. And you were both like, yep, straight in. So I really appreciate that. It feels absolutely bizarre for me to ask you to share your socials because everyone knows who you are. But hey, on this small, humble podcast, where can the people find you, Bails?
Mate, thanks for having me. And mate, that's just what we do, right? It doesn't matter what podcast you're on. You say, where can you find me on the socials? So you can find me at Bails DT across the socials, and you can find us at AFL Fantasy Fans on X as well. And if you want to add me on Foes, because I know a few people do ask that, Bails now is the team name if you'd like to add me there. But always a pleasure to jump on with Jesse and Kman when he's on as well. So it's always good to chat, and we'll chat soon.
Thanks, mate. Tom, how about you, mate? Where can they find you on the socials?
You can find me on X at Tom_Hales.
Oh, no, you're not on mute. Sorry. I thought you were on mute. My bad. Say that again.
Tom_. You can find me on X for the second time at Tom_Hales_. Thanks for having me, Jesse. Always love to jump on. It's a very good podcast you got going, and always happy to jump on when asked.
Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. You can follow Kman, my absent co-host, who's probably already out at the Gabba having a good beverage. You can follow him on Twitter at Kman_TC Fantasy. And you can follow me on Twitter at Contest Fantasy. While he does that, I'll be here editing this. So that's going to be fantastic. And one more thing that I wanted to say before we wrap up was, by the way, my wife said this to me because when I was talking to her a few weeks ago about the pod, I was a guest on your pod or something. And she was like, oh yeah, what are their names? I was like, oh, it's Bails and Tom Hales. And she said, that's a really big missed opportunity because I was talking about the AFLW pod. Bails and Hales to be the name of the podcast. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, maybe next AFLW fantasy season, you can have a think about it. That's the wrong outro music. The Hales and Bails show. Next episode, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Round 10 breakdown. And we've got a bit of a surprise. I'm not going to ruin what that surprise is. You'll just have to wait and see. Like usual, I forgot to put the outro music on at the right time, so I'm just really biding the time here and figuring out what to say. See you later.